Everyone, welcome to KREM 2 News at Noon. It is good to see you. I'm Laura Papetti, and we begin with this. Coming in new at noon, Spokane police have arrested a person suspected of setting several fires in the downtown area on Saturday, and they are expected to make their first court appearance later this afternoon. The suspect is charged with 2 counts of arson and 1 count of reckless burning. None of the fires caused significant damage, and firefighters were able to put them out quickly. We are working to gather more details, and we'll have an update on the investigation coming up tonight on KREM 2 News at 4. We do have some new information at this noon hour after a 2-alarm fire damaged 2 homes in Peaceful Valley. This happened this morning. The fire began about 6 a.m. on West Water Avenue. Firefighters arrived to find 1 home on fire and the flames extending to a neighboring home. It did take crews about 40 minutes to bring the fire under control. Investigators are working to figure out what started the fire. Luckily, no one was hurt, but the Red Cross is stepping in to help 4 people who are living in the homes. And we have some new details at noon after a small plane made an emergency landing at a Spokane Valley school. So this is what we know from the Spokane County Sheriff's Office. They report that the pilot decided to land on the field at Horizon Middle School last night after he said his plane's engine quit mid-flight. The pilot said he was not sure the plane could make it back to Felts Field, which is a little over 5 miles from the school. 4 people were on board the plane. No one was hurt. And right now the FAA has taken over that investigation. All right, 2 minutes past noon right now. We're going to turn to weather. It's looking like a really nice afternoon, but warmer temperatures are on the way. Meteorologist Thomas Patrick is joining us now with the latest. Hi, Thomas.
Yeah, hi, good afternoon, Laura. It is absolutely beautiful out here as of this noon hour. This is probably my favorite day that I've had to enjoy weather-wise in a while. Yesterday, maybe a little bit too windy. Saturday, we hit 90 degrees previously. Maybe that was a little hot for some, but otherwise pretty nice from this past weekend. But right now, it's at 69. We're probably up to the upper 70s for today. Less wind, just a little less heat, but it's not cold by any stretch of the imagination. Just absolutely perfect in that sweet spot of comfortable summer weather. Expecting 79 and it to remain probably just mostly sunny. There are some thin cirrus clouds over our heads, but the sunshine's not going to be stopped by that in the slightest. There was the storm system responsible for yesterday's windy weather. Look at it. It's all the way into Minnesota and almost Wisconsin by this point, almost 24 hours later. So we're in a nice, very clean, quiet spot for the Northwest. But my attention is already focused over the west. There's another storm that's starting to brew over the North Pacific. This will be our next big weather system, but it doesn't arrive until Thursday. So we'll show you how warm it gets in between now and then and the weather impacts that this next storm will have on the inland Northwest. Those details are in about 12 minutes.
Well, after a warm and windy weekend, there are several wildfires across our region that we are tracking here at KREM 2, so let's get down to it. Fire crews got the upper hand on a 20-acre wildfire. This is north of the Spokane International Airport. The fire began around 7 last night on West Campus Drive near Airway Heights. Luckily, 2 helicopters helped stop the spread of that fire. And this is coming in new at noon. All evacuations have been lifted for the number 2 Canyon Road fire. That fire started yesterday afternoon near Wenatchee and prompted level 3 evacuations. Right now, the cause of that fire is unknown. And a fire in Okanagan County is prompting level 2 evacuations, which means people living near Gold Creek Road near Carlton need to be ready to leave if conditions do change. The fire started on Saturday afternoon and so far has burned about 200 acres. And we have an update for you on a fire near Lake Chelan. The Pioneer wildfire has now burned about 4,400 acres. Firefighters say the fire could burn until late October, and that's because it is in an area that's so hard to reach. 12:04 right now. The city of Coeur d'Alene has adopted a new building moratorium. KREM 2's Brandon T. Jones explains what it means for development in the immediate future.
Well, this moratorium that's in place ultimately helps preserve historic buildings and property in Coeur d'Alene, such as the Roosevelt Inn. At least that's the immediate plans for the future. We mentioned how this was voted on by council members in Coeur d'Alene last week with a vote of 5-1 to put this moratorium in place. And what it does is set a 182-day moratorium on demolition and moving permits and building permits for significant exterior alterations for buildings excluding residential located in the downtown core. The temporary decision comes in light of efforts to preserve the historic Roosevelt Inn, which was established back in 1905. Community Planning Director for Coeur d'Alene, Hillary Patterson, says the temporary decision is designed to help raise awareness of what is deemed a historic site in the community.
Help educate the community on the importance of historic preservation and also what are opportunities, including partnerships with others and grant opportunities, tax write-offs, and whatnot.
So the moratorium is temporary. It'll be in place until December 17th, so a majority of the year, but it sets up more awareness and potential methods of preserving historical buildings long term here in Coeur d'Alene. Also, any building that's 50 years or younger is not impacted by this moratorium. But for now, reporting here in Coeur d'Alene, Brandon T. Jones, KREM 2 News.
This is coming in new at noon. Gonzaga men's basketball has set the date for its matchup against Kentucky. The two teams will play on December 7th at the Climate Pledge Arena in Seattle as part of the Battle in Seattle. And ZAG member pre-sales begin on Wednesday with tickets opening up to everyone else on Friday. Gonzaga and Kentucky are in the middle of a 5-year, 5-game series. Gonzaga has won the first two matchups and will look to extend the streak, of course, coming up this season.